What's up, everybody? Darty B here. It's been a little while since I last uploaded, and I apologize for that. I got started working on a script and kept getting really demotivated to work on it because I was trying to go into way too much detail for what I was trying to do, which led to it never really getting finished. It might still appear at some point, but it'll probably be trimmed down a lot, which hopefully will be a lot more fun for both me and you all, and when it comes to actually watching it. So as for what I have planned for today, as you've likely gleaned from the title, I've recently gotten into playing Dark Souls 3, and a big reason for that is the experiences that I've recently had playing Monster Hunter World that I've shared on this channel. If you haven't watched my most recent videos, I'll summarize them by saying that I had a huge breakthrough in the way that I played Monster Hunter recently that peaked with me developing an intense enjoyment for overcoming extreme challenges in video games, specifically the Elytron and Fatalis fights in Monster Hunter's case. Both of these monsters took me many tries to eventually beat them for the first time, and required even more to ultimately master their fights and be able to defeat them with any semblance of ease. I also started going back to old fights in the game, and trying to finish them as efficiently and quickly as possible, learning how to use positioning, dodging, and the moveset of my weapon more effectively than ever before, and I loved every second of it. I will be making lots more Monster Hunter World videos in the future, but after reaching a point where Monster Hunter World started to feel a little bit repetitive even as I was learning new weapons, I decided that I'd like to try something else out for a change. I'd played lots of Dauntless before, but wasn't really feeling like getting back into that for the time being, so I started looking elsewhere. I'd heard that the Dark Souls series was awesome and a lot of fun, but the mature rating of the games and the overall gloomy and, well, dark atmosphere was pretty off-putting to me as I looked at them from an outside perspective coming from the bright and cheery game that is Monster Hunter. However, I had been paying a lot of attention to launch titles for the PS5, and of course Demon's Souls got my attention, with its absolutely gorgeous visuals and, in my opinion, some of the most weighty and full sound design that I've ever heard in a video game. As I watched gameplay from streamers and YouTubers, I started to realize that while Souls games certainly aren't Monster Hunter, they do have a similar core focus on player growth through smart combat and positioning. I learned that most Souls games also have a feature to turn off the blood spurts and effects, which also increased the appeal to me as I personally don't enjoy graphic content. On top of that, seeing what the actual games were like reminded me a lot of some of my favorite high fantasy books from Brandon Sanderson, who's talked on his YouTube channel about loving the Souls games too. Long story short, I ended up picking up both Dark Souls 3 and both of its DLCs for a great price, and dove right in. For my first playthrough, I did decide to play co-op with the same friend that I beat Elytron and Fatalis with, because he also had the game and wanted to experience it along with me. Although the co-op experience was certainly easier than it would have been otherwise, I was able to get exposed to just how much content and replayability the game has, as there were many bosses that I could tell would be completely different in terms of both difficulty and overall experience in a solo run. For instance, you'll see a clip of us taking on Aldrich in this video, and I can tell you that Aldrich is going to be very different solo, I think. Just for fun, we even decided to beat Yorm with our normal weapons instead of the Storm Ruler and had a blast doing so. I'm currently working on my solo playthrough, and I'm loving it so far, just as I did playing through the game with my friend. I'm definitely much more open now to playing other games in the Souls franchise as well, and I look forward to all the awesome experiences and challenges I'll be able to face in New Game Plus and beyond. On the whole, Dark Souls 3 surprised me a lot, though it's very different from Monster Hunter in some ways, taking the focus away from using complex weapon moves and instead placing a greater emphasis on not overextending yourself. Both games teach you how to learn to read a powerful enemy and overcome them through strategy, prediction, and endurance. I haven't played enough Dark Souls yet to say which game I prefer, so I'll be holding off on making that decision until another video. I also definitely wouldn't recommend Dark Souls as a game for younger kids or even younger teens, but for someone who doesn't mind things that are creepy or dismal, the world is fascinating to explore and see in all its decaying grandeur. Dark Souls 3 is a rich game with endless possibilities for play and exploration, with both traditional melee strategies and fascinating magic attacks. It combines satisfying and unusually fair difficulty with a wide variety of challenging and interesting bosses and levels, and I think that mature Monster Hunter fans like myself looking for something different, yet with that same satisfying difficulty and progression, will generally love playing it. I know this video is pretty short, but I don't have a whole lot more to say other than what I've already shared, at least for this video. I'm planning on talking in a lot more detail in the future, but I wanted to preclude those videos with this because I felt that the story of getting into Dark Souls 3 for me was worth sharing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Monster Hunter, Dark Souls, or both down in the comments, and I hope you subscribe to my channel. I'll be talking a lot more about some of my favorite and least favorite fights in both Dark Souls 3 and Monster Hunter World, and my reasons why in the future, as well as other games that I'd like to talk about, critique, and praise. Until next time, Darty B out.